You did not find this message by accident. You felt something drawing you here, a quiet pull, a strange urgency, not panic, not curiosity alone, something deeper. Because if you are one of the chosen, you already know a truth most people cannot explain. The battle is not always outside of you. Sometimes, the battle is in the voice you hear within. You have felt it before, haven't you? That sudden pressure, that inner alarm, that feeling that you must move immediately, or everything will collapse. You thought it was intuition, you thought it was divine warning. But something felt off. Something felt rushed, chaotic, heavy. Chosen one understand this clearly. The adversary does not always attack you with obvious darkness. No, that would be too easy. Instead, the enemy studies your gifts. He studies your discernment. He studies your prayer life. He studies the way heaven communicates with you. And then he attempts something far more dangerous. He mimics it. Not perfectly, but just enough to confuse those who are not paying attention. You see, when you carry divine intuition, when your spirit is sensitive to the unseen, when heaven whispers direction into your life, the enemy cannot simply silence that gift. So he tries something else. He counterfeits it. He injects pressure where heaven brings peace. He injects fear where heaven brings authority. He injects urgency where heaven brings clarity. And if you do not learn to recognize the difference, you can be pushed into decisions that were never meant for you. That is why this message matters. Because today you are going to uncover 9 hidden warnings, 9 moments when the adversary mimics divine intuition in order to mislead the chosen. Not the world, the chosen. People like you, people marked for destiny, people who hear more than others hear, people who feel more than others feel. But understand this, if the enemy is trying to imitate your intuition, it means your intuition is dangerous to him. It means your discernment threatens his strategies. It means your assignment is real. So listen carefully, because the first warning exposes one of the enemy's most common tricks. And once you see it, you will never unsee it again. But before we step into it, take a moment. If this message resonates with something deep inside your spirit, make sure you subscribe and stand with this channel. Because this space is not for the distracted. It is for those who know they are set apart. Now listen closely. First, the first warning is the voice that urges you to move in panic instead of peace. You have experienced this before. A sudden internal pressure, a voice inside saying you must act immediately. Move now, decide now, respond now, or everything will fall apart. Does that sound familiar? It feels intense. It feels serious. It even feels spiritual. But look closer. Because divine intuition does not sound like chaos. Heaven does not shout in panic. Heaven speaks with authority, calm authority. Even in urgency, there is clarity. Even in warning, there is stability. But the counterfeit voice feels different. It tightens your chest. It speeds up your thoughts. It floods your mind with worst-case scenarios. Act now or you will lose everything. Respond now or the opportunity is gone. Make the decision now before it's too late. Chosen one understand what is happening. This is not intuition. This is pressure. And pressure is one of the enemy's favorite weapons against those who are spiritually sensitive. Because when you feel rushed, you stop discerning. When you feel afraid, you stop listening. When your mind starts racing, your spirit becomes harder to hear. And the adversary knows this. He studies the way heaven has guided you before. Then he imitates the tone of warning, but he replaces peace with anxiety. He replaces clarity with emotional pressure. He replaces divine direction with forced reaction. Think about your past. How many times did you make a decision because something inside you said everything would collapse if you didn't act immediately? How many times did that intuition later reveal itself as confusion? Now you understand why. Because heaven leads, but darkness pushes, heaven confirms. But deception pressures, and you, chosen one, were never meant to be driven by panic. You were meant to be led by peace, even in warfare, even in urgency, even in the middle of storms. Your spirit remains steady, your discernment remains clear. And the moment you recognize this difference, the enemy loses one of his most powerful disguises. But this is only the beginning, because the second warning is even more subtle. and many chosen ones miss it completely. Second warning, understand this clearly. The adversary will sometimes imitate your intuition by whispering one dangerous suggestion: withdraw, step back, disappear. Not because you are wrong, but because you are powerful. You have felt this before. A sudden thought appears in your mind. It sounds calm, it sounds wise, it even sounds spiritual. Maybe I should step away from this. Maybe this calling is too much. Maybe it is safer if I just stay quiet. And in that moment, something inside you almost agrees. Why? Because the battlefield around you has been intense. You have faced rejection, misunderstanding, isolation, resistance from people who cannot see what you carry. So when that quiet thought arrives, saying, step back, withdraw, disappear for a while, it almost feels like relief. But listen carefully. Chosen one, relief is not always revelation. Sometimes relief is the enemy offering you an escape from your assignment. You see, the adversary understands something about you that many people do not. Your destiny grows when you obey. Your authority increases when you step forward. Your favor multiplies when you walk directly into the place heaven has called you. So what does darkness do? It disguises retreat as wisdom. It whispers things like this: protect your energy, stay hidden, do not put yourself out there. Maybe you are not ready, and if you are not careful, that whisper begins to sound like discernment. But there is a difference, a powerful difference. Divine protection strengthens your calling. Counterfeit protection shrinks it. Heaven may lead you into seasons of preparation. Yes, there are moments when God pulls the chosen into quiet places. But when heaven hides you, it builds you. When darkness hides you, it buries you. Do you see the difference? One prepares your destiny, the other delays it. And many chosen ones fall into this trap because their hearts are sensitive. You care deeply, you feel deeply. You carry spiritual awareness that most people around you do not understand. So when the warfare becomes heavy, the thought of withdrawing begins to look like wisdom. But ask yourself something honestly. When those thoughts came before, what happened afterward? Did your spirit feel stronger, or did something inside you slowly dim? Did your confidence grow, or did your assignment start to feel distant because the enemy's strategy is subtle? He does not always try to destroy the chosen immediately. Sometimes he simply tries to silence them. If he cannot break your destiny, he will attempt to delay it. If he cannot corrupt your gift, he will attempt to hide it. If he cannot stop your calling, he will try to convince you that stepping away is spiritual maturity. But you were never called to disappear. You were called to stand. Yes, the world may misunderstand you. Yes, people may reject what they cannot recognize. Yes, the path of the chosen often feels lonely. But isolation does not mean abandonment. It means preparation. It means separation from the noise. It means heaven is sharpening something inside you that darkness cannot control. So when that whisper arrives telling you to shrink, to retreat, to hide from your assignment, pause, discern the voice. Because your destiny was never meant to be lived in hiding. You were marked to move forward, marked to carry light into dark places, marked to step where others hesitate. And the moment you refuse the lie of false retreat, something shifts in the spirit. The enemy loses another disguise, but the deception becomes even more subtle from here. Because the third warning is where many spiritually awakened people become deeply confused. Third warning, and this one unsettles many chosen ones when they first recognize it. Because this deception does not sound dark, it sounds familiar. Very familiar. It feels like your own inner voice. It carries the same spiritual language you have used in prayer, the same tone you have heard in moments of divine guidance. That is why this trap is dangerous, because the voice does not feel foreign. It feels like you. Have you noticed it? Moments when your mind suddenly fills with many possible directions. One thought says move forward, another thought says wait, another says change the plan entirely, then another appears, and another. Soon your mind is spinning, not with fear, but with options. Too many options, too many interpretations, too many spiritual explanations. Chosen one, understand the difference. Divine intuition sharpens direction, even when the path is difficult, even when the path requires courage. Heaven does not confuse you. Heaven may challenge you. Heaven may stretch you. But heaven does not trap you in endless uncertainty. When the true voice of God moves through your spirit, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes still. Your direction becomes narrow. Not easy, but clear. You know the step. You know the direction. But when the adversary mimics intuition, something different begins to happen. Your thoughts multiply. Your clarity dissolves. Your spirit feels pulled in 5 directions at once. One moment you feel called to move. The next moment you question everything. You analyze, you reanalyze, you search for confirmation. Then doubt creeps in. Then another voice appears offering a completely different interpretation. What is happening? This is strategic fog. The enemy cannot always stop your discernment, but he can try to overload it. He watches how you pray. He listens to the language you use when you seek divine direction. Then he mirrors it back to you, but with distortion. The words sound spiritual. The tone sounds wise. But the result is confusion. And confusion is not from heaven. Let that settle in your spirit. Confusion is not from heaven. The adversary knows something about you. You are thoughtful. You are spiritually sensitive. You want to honor the voice of God in every decision. So he floods your mind with counterfeit guidance. He creates multiple spiritual narratives, multiple interpretations, multiple possible paths, until you become trapped in analysis instead of obedience. Days pass, weeks pass, momentum disappears, your assignment waits, because confusion has become a cage. But here's the revelation most people never learn. Clarity is the signature of divine direction. Even when the road is difficult, even when the obedience requires sacrifice, the direction itself is clear. The chosen recognize it. Not everyone will understand this, because most people are not listening on the same spiritual frequency that you are. But you feel it. You sense it. You know when your spirit becomes quiet and steady, and you also know when something inside your mind starts spinning in circles. That spinning is not discernment. That spinning is interference. So when you hear a voice that multiplies paths until you cannot move, pause. Do not chase every thought. Do not follow every interpretation. Return to stillness. Return to the place where your spirit becomes quiet again. Because confusion cannot survive in true spiritual clarity. And the moment you recognize this pattern, another layer of deception collapses. But the adversary has an even subtler imitation waiting, one that feels peaceful on the surface, yet quietly pulls you away from your assignment. Fourth warning, and this one deceives even spiritually mature people, because it feels good, it feels calm, it even feels like peace. But listen carefully. Not every feeling of peace is divine confirmation. You have experienced this before. You were standing at the edge of something important, a calling, a responsibility, an assignment that required courage. Your spirit knew it mattered, but the moment you considered stepping away, something strange happened. Relief, sudden relief. Your chest relaxed, your thoughts slowed down, the pressure lifted, and your mind whispered something dangerous. See, now you have peace. Chosen one, pause right there. Because the adversary understands a powerful truth about you. You seek peace. You want to follow God's voice. You want your decisions to be aligned with heaven. So the enemy creates a counterfeit signal. False peace. Relief that appears the moment you avoid your assignment. Have you noticed it? The moment you say yes to the calling, resistance appears. Opposition, fear, spiritual warfare, doubts from people around you, moments of loneliness, moments where the path feels heavy. But the moment you consider stepping away, suddenly everything feels easier, quiet, comfortable, almost peaceful. Why? Because you just moved away from the battlefield. And when a soldier leaves the battlefield, the noise stops. But the war is not over. You simply stepped out of position. The adversary rewards avoidance, not because he cares about your comfort, but because your obedience threatens his territory. Your assignment carries authority. Your calling carries influence. Your voice carries light into places darkness wants to control. So if the enemy cannot destroy your calling, he will attempt something more subtle. He will sedate it. He will create emotional comfort around disobedience. He will wrap retreat in a blanket of relief. And many chosen ones misinterpret that relief as divine guidance. But look deeper. True peace does not disappear when you walk toward your purpose. True peace walks with you through warfare. You may feel pressure, you may feel resistance, you may feel the weight of responsibility, but beneath all of it, your spirit remains anchored, calm, steady, certain. That is divine peace. Divine peace strengthens obedience. False peace weakens it. Divine peace whispers, keep going. False peace whispers, step away. Divine peace prepares you for the battle. False peace convinces you to leave the battlefield. So ask yourself something honestly. When you imagine abandoning the assignment you know deep down you were called to carry, does relief appear? Does life suddenly feel simpler? That relief may not be peace. It may be sedation, because destiny always disturbs the comfort of the world. Destiny disrupts systems. Destiny threatens darkness. And you, chosen one, were never meant to live a life that darkness finds comfortable. You were called to shake it. You were called to expose it. You were called to walk forward even when the path requires courage. So when peace appears only when you step away from your purpose, examine it, discern it. Do not accept comfort as confirmation, because the enemy's most subtle strategy is not to attack you directly. It is to quietly remove you from the place where your authority would have changed everything. But the deeper you understand this, the harder it becomes for deception to survive around you. And what comes next reveals an even more dangerous imitation, one that does not use fear, one that uses something far more seductive. Fifth warning, and this is where the battlefield becomes personal, because the adversary stops attacking your fear and starts feeding your ego. Listen carefully. Chosen one, darkness knows something about people like you. Fear will not stop you forever. Pressure will not silence you forever. You have already survived too much for that. So the enemy changes tactics. He begins whispering something that sounds empowering, but it is not heaven. Have you ever felt it, a sudden impression rising inside you? You are greater than everyone around you. You are more enlightened than they are. They cannot understand you because you are above them. At first it sounds almost like confirmation. After all, you are different. You are set apart. You are carrying something rare. But pay attention to the direction of the message, because divine intuition does something very specific. It elevates your purpose, but it humbles your spirit. Heaven reminds you that you are chosen, but it also reminds you that the calling is bigger than you. The mission is sacred. The assignment is serious. Your gift is not a crown for your ego. It is a responsibility. But the counterfeit voice twists this. Instead of pointing you toward your mission, it points everything back toward you. Your power, your uniqueness, your superiority, and slowly the focus shifts. Not toward service, not toward obedience, but toward identity inflation. Chosen one understand why this deception is dangerous. Pride clouds discernment faster than fear ever could. Fear makes you cautious. Pride makes you blind. Fear causes hesitation. Pride causes assumption. And when assumption enters your spirit, something sacred begins to weaken. You stop listening carefully. You stop checking the voice. You stop testing the spirit behind the message. Because the voice feels good. It flatters you. It feeds the part of the human heart that wants recognition. But the enemy is not celebrating you. He is distracting you. Because when your ego grows louder, your discernment grows quieter. And the adversary understands something about the chosen. Your authority does not come from feeling superior. Your authority comes from alignment. Alignment with heaven, alignment with truth, alignment with the assignment placed on your life. The moment pride becomes the center, the alignment begins to shift. And once alignment shifts, confusion becomes easier. Deception becomes easier. Missteps become easier. That is why the most powerful people in spiritual warfare are not the loudest. They are the most surrendered. They carry authority quietly. They move with confidence, but not arrogance. They understand something many never learn. Your gift was never meant to elevate your ego. It was meant to advance your mission. So when a voice begins telling you how special you are, without reminding you of responsibility, pause. Discern the spirit behind it, because heaven may affirm you. Yes, heaven may confirm your calling. Yes, but heaven will always bring you back to one thing: purpose, assignment, obedience. Your greatness is not the story, your assignment is. And when you understand that, pride loses its grip, darkness loses another disguise, but the next warning reveals something even more subtle. Something that uses patterns, something that uses repetition, something that makes deception look like confirmation. Sixth warning. And this one deceives many who believe they are reading signs. You have seen it before. Patterns appearing around you, repeated moments, repeated opportunities, repeated confirmations that seem to say the same thing. At first it feels exciting. You think heaven is guiding you through coincidence. You think the path is opening. You think the repetition is confirmation. But look closer, because not every repeated signal is divine direction. Sometimes repetition is bait. Sometimes repetition is distraction. Sometimes repetition is the adversary quietly steering you toward the easiest road. And the easiest road is rarely the road of destiny. You have already noticed something about your life. When heaven calls you into something real, the terrain is not smooth. There is resistance, there is refinement, there are moments where obedience requires courage. Because the assignment placed on your life carries weight. It shapes you, it sharpens you, it stretches the parts of you that comfort would leave untouched. But the adversary studies this. He watches how the chosen grow through pressure, and he knows something important. If he can guide you away from the refining path, he can slow your transformation. So he creates a counterfeit pattern. Convenience, doors that open too easily, paths that require no courage, decisions that feel comfortable immediately, and then he reinforces it. You see the same opportunity again, and again, and again, and your mind begins to say something dangerous. This must be a sign. But ask yourself something honestly. Is the path challenging your spirit, or is it protecting your comfort? Is it stretching your calling or shrinking your responsibility? Because the adversary loves comfortable detours. They look harmless, they feel logical, they even look successful on the outside. But slowly, quietly, they move you away from the place where your authority would have been built. The enemy cannot always stop the chosen directly, so he attempts to redirect them. Just a few degrees off course. Not enough to alarm you, just enough to delay you. But the chosen eventually learn something powerful. True divine guidance does not always feel easy. It feels right, even when it requires courage, even when the road ahead looks uncertain. Your spirit knows the difference. You feel it deep inside. There is a quiet gravity to real purpose, a weight, a seriousness, a sense that something eternal is attached to the step you're about to take. But counterfeit signs feel lighter, simpler, almost too convenient. And when the chosen learn to recognize this difference, their discernment becomes dangerous to darkness. Because you stop chasing every open door. You stop interpreting comfort as confirmation. You stop assuming that repetition means approval. Instead, you begin asking a deeper question. Does this path refine me or distract me? Does this road strengthen my assignment or dilute it? Because destiny is rarely built on the easiest road. Destiny is built in places where courage and obedience meet. And when you choose refinement over comfort, something powerful begins to awaken inside you. Your spiritual authority deepens. Your discernment sharpens. Your confidence grows. Not because the path is easy, but because you know you are walking the one heaven intended. And the adversary hates that level of clarity. Because once the chosen stop following convenience, deception loses another strategy. But the seventh warning reveals something even more dangerous. A deception that targets your relationships. A whisper designed to separate you from the very people assigned to strengthen your journey. Seventh warning, and this one strikes at something sacred: your connections, your alliances. The people heaven placed near your journey. Listen carefully. Chosen one, the adversary understands something powerful about destiny. No assignment is carried alone. Even the most set-apart souls are strengthened by certain relationships. Mentors, allies, voices that sharpen you, people who challenge you, people who pray for you, people who see the fire inside you when the world cannot. Heaven places these connections with precision, but darkness studies them just as carefully. Because if the enemy cannot silence you directly, he will try to isolate you indirectly. Have you noticed this pattern? A quiet thought begins to form, not loud, not aggressive, just subtle, a whisper in your discernment. Something about them feels off. They might not really support you. Maybe they secretly oppose your calling. At first it feels like intuition. You believe you are discerning motives. You believe you are protecting your spirit, but slowly something begins to shift. Suspicion grows, distance grows, silence grows, and eventually the connection weakens. Chosen one, understand the strategy. Darkness rarely attacks the chosen through obvious enemies. Most attacks come through division, through subtle fractures in relationships that heaven intended to strengthen you. The enemy plants small seeds, small doubts, small interpretations, until you begin questioning people who were actually sent to help you. And the tragedy is this: you believe you are being spiritually wise. You believe you are protecting your calling, but what is actually happening? Your support system is quietly being dismantled. Isolation begins to surround you. Now listen carefully. Isolation is not always evil. There are seasons where heaven separates you from noise, moments where solitude builds your spirit, but divine isolation strengthens your connection with truth. Counterfeit isolation weakens your connection with people who sharpen you. Do you see the difference? Heaven may separate you from the crowd, but it does not separate you from the right voices, the right allies, the right spiritual reinforcements. The adversary, however, wants something very specific. He wants the chosen to stand alone in confusion, because a lone warrior becomes easier to exhaust, easier to mislead, easier to overwhelm. But when the right people stand beside you, deception struggles to survive, truth echoes, discernment sharpens, wisdom multiplies. That is why darkness tries to poison those connections, not through obvious hatred, through quiet bitterness, through silent suspicion, through the feeling that you must withdraw from those who once strengthened you. But the chosen eventually awaken to this strategy. You begin to test the voice behind the suspicion. You begin to examine the fruit of your thoughts. Does this voice bring clarity, or does it slowly isolate you? Does it strengthen your mission, or does it quietly dismantle your support? Because the enemy cannot erase the calling placed on your life, but he will attempt to weaken the environment around it. Yet here is the truth that darkness hates. The chosen cannot be permanently isolated. Not when they learn discernment, not when they recognize the difference between divine warning and strategic division. The moment you see this tactic, it loses power, and the alliances meant for your journey become stronger than ever. But the deception grows even deeper from here, because the eighth warning targets something even more subtle: your sense of timing, your readiness, your momentum. Eighth warning, and this one attacks your timing. Not your gift, not your calling, your timing. Listen closely, because the adversary has studied your obedience. He has watched how you move when heaven speaks. He has seen the moments when your spirit receives clear instruction, and he knows something powerful about you. When you obey quickly, things shift, doors open, territory moves, light enters spaces darkness wanted to keep closed. So he cannot always stop the instruction, but he can attempt something else: delay. Have you felt it? That inner nudge that sounds patient, calm, almost wise. Not yet. Wait a little longer. Make sure you are completely ready. Pray about it a few more times. And at first it sounds responsible. It sounds spiritual. After all, patience is a virtue. Waiting on God is important. But the adversary twists sacred principles. He turns patience into postponement. He turns wisdom into hesitation. He turns discernment into delay. And the most dangerous part, it feels like maturity. You tell yourself you are being careful. You tell yourself you are preparing. But something deeper inside you already knows the truth. Heaven spoke. The direction was clear. The step was obvious. Yet the voice continues whispering. Later. Chosen one. Understand what is happening. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in spiritual assignment. When heaven gives instruction, there is an energy attached to that moment, a window, a current, a flow of divine alignment. But every delay weakens that current. Every hesitation drains a little more momentum. One day becomes a week becomes a month becomes a season, and slowly the fire that once burned brightly begins to dim. Not because the calling disappeared, but because delay has cooled the urgency. The adversary studies this pattern carefully. He knows he cannot erase your destiny, but if he can slow your obedience, he can stall the impact. He can keep the chosen circling preparation instead of stepping into purpose. And many fall into this trap because they fear moving too soon. But listen carefully. There is a difference between preparation and postponement. Preparation strengthens your readiness. Postponement slowly weakens your courage. Preparation brings clarity. Postponement breeds doubt. Preparation builds momentum. Postponement drains it, so when a voice inside you constantly says, wait, test it. Ask yourself something honest. Did heaven already make the direction clear? Did your spirit already confirm the step? Because if clarity has already come, delay is no longer wisdom. Delay becomes sabotage. And the chosen eventually awaken to this truth. You begin to recognize that obedience carries power. Immediate obedience carries authority. When heaven speaks and you move, something shifts in the unseen. Darkness loses ground. Fear loses influence. Doubt loses its voice. Because action activates destiny, and you were never designed to live in endless preparation. You were designed to move, to build, to speak, to step forward when heaven calls. So the next time that subtle voice whispers, not yet, pause. Discern the spirit behind it, because the adversary's greatest hope is that you keep waiting. Waiting until the moment passes. Waiting until the fire fades. Waiting until the opportunity disappears. But the chosen are learning something powerful now. You are not meant to hesitate forever. You are meant to move when heaven speaks. And once you break the chain of delay, your momentum becomes unstoppable. But the final warning reveals the most dangerous deception of all, the one that almost perfectly imitates divine intuition, the one that even the spiritually awakened must learn to confront. Ninth warning, understand this with absolute clarity. This is the most dangerous deception of all. Not fear, not confusion, not delay. Something far more subtle, something that learns how to speak your language. Because at this level, the adversary stops imitating circumstances. He begins imitating your voice, your spiritual voice, the language you use when you pray, the tone you recognize when heaven has guided you before. Listen carefully, because many chosen ones encounter this moment and do not realize what is happening. A thought appears. It sounds spiritual. It sounds wise. It even echoes things you once heard during prayer, phrases you recognize, ideas that resemble past revelations. And that is exactly why it becomes dangerous. The enemy studies patterns. He watches the way heaven has spoken to you. He observes the scriptures that shaped you, the confirmations that strengthened you, the moments where divine intuition moved clearly through your spirit. Then he attempts something bold. He mirrors it, not perfectly, but closely enough that your mind almost accepts it. You hear something inside that sounds like guidance, but the fruit feels different. Subtle pressure, subtle redirection, a small shift in direction that seems harmless, but step by step, it leads you away from alignment. Do you see the strategy? The adversary rarely attacks destiny directly. That would expose him. Instead, he reroutes it. One spiritual decision at a time, one interpretation at a time, one discernment moment at a time, until slowly, quietly, the path begins drifting away from the assignment heaven actually gave you. And the terrifying part, you may believe you are still following intuition. Chosen one, this is where discernment becomes ruthless, not fearful, not paranoid, but awake. Because the final battle of the spiritually awakened is not always against darkness outside you. It is against deception that learns how to sound like you. Sound like your prayers. Sound like your wisdom. Sound like your inner voice. But here is what darkness cannot replicate: alignment. The true voice of heaven produces fruit, clarity, strength, conviction, movement toward purpose. The counterfeit voice produces something else. Subtle drift, subtle pride, subtle delay, subtle confusion. And the chosen eventually learn to test every voice, even the ones that sound familiar. You return to stillness. You return to truth. You return to the quiet authority of divine alignment. Because when your spirit is anchored in that place, imitation collapses, darkness loses its disguise, and the voice of heaven becomes unmistakable again. That is why you were trained through struggle, why your path was never easy, why isolation sharpened your hearing, why resistance refined your discernment. You were being prepared for this level of awareness. You were never weak. You were being trained. Now listen carefully. You are not here by accident. You are not one of the ordinary. You are chosen. Chosen to carry discernment in a confused world. Chosen to see through deception that traps others. Chosen to walk in clarity while darkness hides behind imitation. Every struggle you faced was preparation. Every rejection was refinement. Every lonely season was training. You were being built into someone darkness cannot easily deceive. So stand in that identity. Do not doubt it. Do not shrink from it. You are chosen. And the moment you recognize these warnings, deception begins losing its power over your life. But I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 warnings have you personally experienced? Comment the number below. Let the chosen recognize one another, because this channel is not for everyone. It is for those who know they were set apart long before they understood why. If this message spoke to your spirit, subscribe and stand with this community. There is more revelation ahead, more clarity, more awakening, because the chosen are rising. And remember this truth. Darkness may imitate, darkness may disguise, darkness may attempt to confuse, but it cannot replace what heaven has placed inside you. You were never ordinary, you were never random, you were chosen, and nothing formed against your destiny will stand.